Hello everyone, this is Pastor Matt. I am recording this for anyone who was not able to be with us for the Sabbatical Town Hall that we did a few weeks ago, particularly reaching out to Sunday school teachers and helpers and everybody who is busy during that middle hour. So I'm just going to try and keep this brief, but let you know some of the basics of the sabbatical and also some of the questions that were asked at the Sabbatical Town Hall. So the first thing to share with you is just what a sabbatical is. A sabbatical is based on the word Sabbath, which is based on God's command that on the seventh day we rest. So really the main point of a sabbatical is to give a pastor or professor or other professions that typically use this the time away to rest, to reflect, and to really dig in deeper to why they were called to this work to begin with. So it's often offered every 7 years for pastors, part of a plan to retain pastors. That becomes one of the first questions. We heard little rumblings that people asked if this meant that my time at St. Luke was almost over. And it doesn't mean that. In fact, it actually means the exact opposite. Our sabbatical policy actually requires me to stay for at least a year after the sabbatical is accepted. The whole point of a sabbatical is to help a pastor, after being at a church for a long time, to help that pastor dig in and figure out what the next steps are at that church. So that's one of the things that I'm really looking forward to this summer is a break from the day-to-day grind of being present at the church so that I can actually think about kind of the forest for the trees, looking at the grand vision of where we're called to go and what the next steps are. So that's part of what I'm really looking forward to this summer. And let me just tell you a little bit about the actual details of the plan. So beginning on Memorial Day weekend, I'll do worship on Memorial Day weekend and then leave. And for that next week, I'll be at what's called a directed silent retreat at St. John's Abbey in Collegeville, Minnesota. It's an abbey with monks. I'll be kind of living among the monks. It's a silent retreat, so I'll be silent most of the time, except there's daily spiritual direction, which is like a spiritual therapist of sorts. I'm taking a whole stack of books. They're sitting right over here on my floor in my office. Taking a whole stack of books that I've been wanting to read for years, some that I've read before and really need to read again. Really for spiritual renewal. And really looking forward to that. Right after that, I'll go up for just a couple days to Fargo, North Dakota, to visit my First Call parish and have some time to process a little bit there. Then I come back and we go on a 2-week trip as a family to Yellowstone. So that time is really for rest and for reconnecting with family. When I get back from that trip, I'm going to be heading to Taizé, France. The Taizé community in France, you all have heard me talk plenty about. It's the place that produces some of the music we've used during Advent and other times of the year. And a very peace-filled place. It's on my bucket list. It's a place I've always wanted to go. It's another monastery. But this one attracts thousands of visitors every week during the summer. So the very last part of June, first part of July, I'll be there over in France. And that is something I'm looking forward to more than anything else. That is somewhere I've always wanted to go. After we return from there, we'll get back. I'll get back in July. And there's this event called the Wild Goose Festival. You can certainly look this up online. It's a fascinating Christian festival with musicians and speakers, kind of like a Christian Woodstock, but with both music and various speakers from the Christian world. You camp and you go a little bit like Summerfest. The speaker's on this stage at this time. This band is on that stage at that time. So kind of like a big tent revival for Christians of every flavor, something I've been wanting to go to for years. That the whole family can go to. It's a family-friendly event, and we're going to camp and go to that. That's in Hot Springs, North Carolina, so right after that we're going to take a little bit further trip down to Georgia and see Jess's aunt and uncle, and then we'll come back. After that, I have a little bit of time where I'm going to go to our family's cabin in Michigan to work on the cabin a little bit, do some work, and also just take some more of these books and dig in and really start planning and dreaming for the fall. And there's going to be a good chunk of that kind of time late July and August. The only other thing that's planned that is a big chunk of time is that I was also elected to be a representative from this synod to the national ELCA gathering, and that's in August. So I'll fly to New Orleans and participate in that as a representative of this synod. So I'm looking forward to all of that. There will be time toward the middle and end of August where I start to kind of reinsert and get a little bit of things planned for the fall. So, but this time is really a gift, and the intention is that I come back refreshed, renewed, and full of energy and ideas for where we're headed next. So from the bottom of my heart, I can't tell you how much I appreciate the opportunity. This is something that was very important to Pastor Jerry Peterson, who was a member of this congregation for years, and many of you will remember him, and remember that at every annual meeting, he would stand up and say, for a long-term pastorate, we really need to think about this. The intention is to make it something where I can come back kind of refreshed and renewed with some similar energy that I came here with in the very beginning. That's the part of the point of a sabbatical. So there were some questions asked on the day that we did this presentation between the services. One of the questions was, how will your family be involved? And what we answered was, it totals about 3.5 weeks of the summer will be just me alone, and really the rest of it is time with family. And Jessica's actually going to be doing a sabbatical next year, so next year I'll probably save most of my vacation time to be able to have some touch points in her sabbatical with her, but she'll get some more time alone, I think, in hers, because my job won't allow me to be gone for a summer again. But that's really going to be a great experience. It said, will you answer your cell phone? Essentially, no. I'm not going to get a different phone number for the summer, but the voicemail message will say, I'll see you in September. And it's a really good time to point out that there is a sabbatical guide that is available under quick links on the main page of our website. That explains what to do in case of pastoral care needs. Our Christian Companions team is going to be available for all non-emergencies, so please use them. Anyone who needs a prayer before surgery or is going through some tough things, you can email companions@stluke-slinger.org. All this information is on the sabbatical guide that's linked off the main page of the website. So please do use that. And the information will be on my voicemail here at church. I'm going to change box 1 on the church, not to be my name, but to list who's on call for emergencies. So that's the other thing to note, is that for any pastoral care emergencies, mostly, like a death, we will have local pastors on call for that. And the schedule of which weeks it is which pastor and their contact information will be available either through Michelle or on my voicemail here at the church. So if you need those things, please do reach out and use them. One of the questions that was asked was, how can we assist you with the transition back in September? It was a really great question. I told the group that if you just ask questions, especially if you see things happening or not happening anymore, part of what I hope to come back with is a pretty clear picture of what I am called to do here, so that I am able to make this a little bit more sustainable and probably nudge away from those 70-hour weeks and start making that a little bit better. And so what I said is, how you can assist is simply ask. Give me the benefit of the doubt that I still love this church, and that just because I'm not going to keep working the 70-hour weeks, that, if you start seeing me not doing some of the things that I used to do, part of the point is that we're going to try and hand those off to some people and just make a healthier situation there. Has there ever been thought to provide an unpaid leave? I said I thought that was covered under the Family Medical Leave Act, like if there was some sort of an emergency where I needed to be gone for a couple months, that it wasn't paid like this. The other question was, has there been discussion in this congregation about hiring a second part-time minister, and how much would that cost? And I said, well, part-time would be probably somewhere from $30,000 to $40,000, and that's something that we probably need to wrestle with in the future. I believe that Marie has making that position full-time, and then also the person that God brought to us, Marie, truly a gift, and that has resolved some of those needs in the short term, but long term in terms of pastoral care and things, I am going to very quickly become a bottleneck again as we grow. So that's certainly something for us to think about. Somebody asked about an intern. And the thing I helped everybody understand is that interns are actually, it's a wonderful thing, the internship program, if we were to host a seminary intern. But that interns are actually more work for the pastor because then I become a teaching pastor as well. Something I definitely want to do someday because I had such a positive experience. But I think part of why my internship experience was so positive is because the church I went to had all of their staffing needs met already. So they weren't using the intern as kind of a cheap way to get extra staff. They had everything set, and so when I came in, I was able to try out different areas of ministry. I could try helping lead the confirmation program. I could try doing an adult Bible study for a little while, and they didn't need to pigeonhole me in anything, which gave me a lot more flexibility to get a great internship experience, and that's my goal. I would love for St. Luke to be an internship congregation in the near future. And so once we get our staffing needs met and that intern can come in and not be necessary, but just be an extra bonus for us, then that's when I want us to be an internship congregation. And the last question was, do you see our outreach to youth continuing to grow? And I said, yeah, as well as implementing new strategies to engage more folks. I mean, a big part of our Gen Z process was to understand that just like we can't expect a pastor to do everything, we can't expect a youth director to do everything. And so Marie's got a great skill set, but one of the things that makes her best for this job is that she's really good at connecting with adults too, because a big part of it will be engaging adults in small volunteering opportunities, not huge ones and burning out a few people. Engaging lots of people in small volunteering opportunities so that we can continue to expand our reach without burning out any one individual staff person. So those are most of the questions that came up. Please do take a look at the sabbatical guide that is linked under quick links on the main page of our website. That website can be found by either typing in St. Luke, which is STLUKE-slinger.org, or you can just Google St. Luke Slinger and it'll be the first thing that comes up. Right there on the main page under quick links, sabbatical guide gives you all the basics of what to do with non-emergency and emergency pastoral care needs this summer. Everything else, we have an incredibly talented staff here, and I wholeheartedly trust them. I feel very fortunate to be part of a congregation where I am a piece of that congregation, but the entire leadership structure does not depend on me. We have a lot of great people here, and I'm looking forward to rejoining you in the fall. So any other questions you can certainly direct to Michelle in the office. So thanks so much for watching. We'll talk to you soon.